And if you guys think this is crazy, wait until later in the video when we have the world's most expensive plane ticket on the planet.
If you're watching this, then you've probably seen that MrBeast video where he and his crew boarded a range of flights at different price points and with drastically different levels of luxury. From flying a rickety plane in an open field to enjoying the elegant service of Singapore Airlines Suites class, they even went as far as inviting fans on a mind-blowing $500,000 flight on a private jet. But what if I told you that MrBeast didn't even pay for his flights in cash? In fact, what if I told you MrBeast actually just booked his flights using points and miles, and you can too. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the different flights MrBeast and his team flew, and by the end, we'll show you how to book all these flights entirely on points. After all, in a world full of rewards programs, you don't have to spend $1 million to live a millionaire's lifestyle. To kick things off, we have the world's cheapest flight, which according to MrBeast's video, only costs $1.
Why does this sound like a lawnmower engine?
In my professional opinion, if you want to fly this route, I'd highly recommend just looking around the house for a spare loonie or $1 for our American viewers, and then just using that to pay for the flight. Okay, jokes aside, let's move on to the first actual plane ticket featured in the MrBeast video.
Here's the thing, boys. I bought all the first class seats, so sit wherever you want.
Now, although he doesn't mention it outright, the keen-eyed among you can easily tell that MrBeast and his team are flying in JetBlue Mint, a premium cabin offered by JetBlue, which is one of the most popular lower-cost carriers flying within the United States. But the team isn't flying the fancy new JetBlue Mint suites or studio seats. They're on the older JetBlue Mint cabin, which is still offered on the company's fleet of A321s. Despite the older product, the original JetBlue Mint still offers a great value for money, featuring lie flat seats and delicious food and cocktail options. And this is all at a fraction of the price compared to bigger airlines like American Airlines, United, and Delta. If you want to be able to fly this $1,000 first class flight, you'll first need to settle on the route you're taking. Now, MrBeast and his team don't mention what flight path they took in the video. However, after doing some research, the easiest and cheapest way to fly standard JetBlue Mint is to take a one-way trip from Seattle to Boston. During the off-peak season, the cash price of this ticket can range from $700 to $1,000 US, or between 65,000 and 95,000 JetBlue True Blue points, which is JetBlue's in-house currency for booking reward flights. Assuming you're booking the lowest ticket price, all you need to do is get 65,000 True Blue points. Now, unfortunately for us Canadians, none of the banks here, including American Express, have JetBlue listed as an airline partner. But if you live in the United States, you could apply for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, and by doing so, you'll get a generous welcome bonus of 60,000 to 80,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points upon spending at least $4,000 in the first 3 months of opening the card. Once you've done that, you'll be able to easily convert your Chase points into True Blue points at a ratio of 1:1, which is going to be more than enough to book that Mint class reward flight. Alright, that's one first class flight down. We've got a few more to go. Looking back at MrBeast's video, you can see that their next stop in their quest for luxury travel is on Emirates with their first class suites on the Airbus A380.
We are 30,000 feet in the air, and I can take a shower.
Now again, this isn't the newest cabin the airline has to offer, but as long as there's a shower and caviar on demand, I'm not complaining. So how do we go about booking this reward flight using points? Well, first, let's start with the route. Unsurprisingly, these first-class flights can be really tricky to find for a reasonable price, even if you're paying with points. But from our research, we found that the most affordable award flight using Emirates Skywards miles will be a one-way trip from Athens to New York at a cost of 102,000 Skywards miles plus roughly $150 in additional taxes and fees. If you have access to US credit cards, there are a few ways to go about earning enough points for this ticket. The first method is to apply for the American Express Platinum card. Now, if you're lucky, you may be able to find a sign-up link that comes with a high welcome bonus of around 125,000 membership rewards points, which you can transfer to Emirates Skywards miles at a 1:1 ratio. And if you can't find this high points offer, then your only option is to apply for the card and avail of the standard 80,000 points welcome bonus, which you'll receive upon spending $6,000 in the first 6 months of owning the card. Now, if you're Canadian and you don't have access to US credit cards, then your options are a little bit more limited, as American Express Canada doesn't have Emirates as an airline partner. Your best alternative is to try and book an Emirates first class flight through Aeroplan points instead. However, you're going to need to shell out a lot more points using Aeroplan. It's going to cost 196,500 points plus around $150 in taxes and fees to fly Emirates first class from Milan to New York. And unfortunately, there's no Canadian credit card that's going to give you a high enough welcome bonus through a single card to redeem for this ticket. So if you want to fly this route using Aeroplan points, then you may need to sign up for multiple Aeroplan co-branded credit cards, or perhaps your best bet is to just apply for any of the US issued Amex cards instead. If you want to learn how to apply for a US credit card as a Canadian, you can watch our dedicated video on this topic, and you'll find the link in the description below. Now, as luxurious as Emirates first class may sound, it's still not the best premium cabin product in the sky. Coming up next, we have Singapore Airlines' suites class on the Airbus A380s, which typically costs $25,000 for a one-way ticket.
2 massive rooms.
Oh, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
Holy cow.
Our space on this plane is literally 4 times bigger than the last one.
This first class class product is absolutely insane, and it's essentially the Emirates first class suite dialed to 11. You get a whole room to yourself, almost double the size of an Emirates suite. And not only do you get a large leather chair to lounge on, but you also get an entirely separate bed that can be converted into a double suite with a double bed in the sky. You even have 2 TVs in the room, one for watching the in-flight safety video, and a much bigger one for when you're relaxing in the skies above. On top of that, you also get to partake in the trademarks of luxury travel, complete with an extensive multi-course menu, all the champagne and caviar your heart desires, and the only thing missing is a shower. Alright, so how do we book this amazing flight? Well, grab a cup of coffee and settle in, because this is going to take a watchful eye and some clever planning to book. Singapore Airlines offers first class on a lot of its routes around the world, but out of these, only select routes on the Airbus A380 count as suites class. And after some extensive Googling and flight tracking, we've determined that in order to book a suites class ticket on points, your best bet is to fly Singapore to Hong Kong for around 45,000 KrisFlyer miles. Alternatively, you could also try booking a flight from Singapore to Sydney for a long-haul experience, though this will set you back around 94,000 miles instead. Alright, now how do you go about earning enough points for this flight? Well, if you have access to US credit cards, you can try applying for that American Express Platinum card and going for that high welcome bonus of 125,000 points, which you can then convert into KrisFlyer miles at a 1-to-1 ratio. Of course, outside of the Platinum card, you could also apply for the American Express Green Card because they all earn American Express membership rewards points that can transfer to KrisFlyer 1-to-1. Another method is to also sign up for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card and earn Chase Ultimate rewards points. This card usually has a welcome bonus of 60,000 to 80,000 points, and that transfers 1-to-1 to KrisFlyer, so that'll be enough for the 45,000 points you need for suites class from Singapore to Hong Kong. Although you may need to double up on that welcome bonus and have your partner sign up for the card as well if you want them to join you in the double bed in the sky, and everything that entails. Now, if you're in Canada and you don't have access to US credit cards, your options are again rather limited, as there's only 2 rewards programs you can use to transfer points to KrisFlyer miles, Marriott Bonvoy, and HSBC rewards. However, with both programs, you're going to need to earn about 150,000 points to book a Singapore suites ticket. And with that in mind, you're almost better off applying for a US credit card to get enough points for Singapore suites. Again, if you want to learn how, you can watch our dedicated video on the subject in the description below. Now, we've talked about the $1 flight, the $1,000 flight, the $10,000 flight, the $25,000 flight. Towards the end of MrBeast's video, he and his team began to move away from commercial airlines into the high-end luxury private jet market. I mean, did you see that $500,000 jet they flew in? You even have to take your shoes off when you board. It's absolutely insane.
And by square feet, this is bigger than our houses.
It's almost impossible to imagine how big this jet actually is.
Now, this is where using points starts to get a little bit tricky, as most, if not all, credit card companies don't usually offer private jets as a reward flight. However, there is something to keep in mind. If you have a US issued American Express Platinum or Business Platinum card, or a Centurion or Business Centurion card, then you may be able to take advantage of a hidden perk. It's called the American Express Premium Private Jet Program, and it essentially offers free memberships and discounts to a private jet booking service. I think it goes without saying though that this perk is only really going to be useful for the 1% of the 1%. As for the rest of us, the best way to experience luxury travel is by mastering the points game and redeeming points for free first class flights, as we've covered in this video. And if you want to learn more about how to level up your travel experiences without breaking the bank, then check out this video next, where I share my own personal journey from flying economy to first class and all of the lessons I learned along the way.